So how can a fall in a hospital turn deadly? I learned an unbelievable statistic. I didn't know that there are almost 700,000 to a million falls in a hospital each year. I also learned that there's over 50,000 of those falls result in the patient dying. That's just an unbelievable statistic to me. I had no idea. Most of these falls involve bumps or bruises, and although it's unfortunate, most people recover from those falls in the hospital. But what about the ones that turn deadly? How does that happen? Well, most of the time what happens is after a patient falls, most of the time they're alone. And they may bang their head on the floor or on a piece of furniture as they're falling down. And when the hospital staff comes to examine them, they may see bumps or bruises, and they may not see any bumps or bruises at all. But what they don't pay attention to is the fact that someone struck their head either on the floor or on a piece of furniture. So what's the problem here? Well, the problem here is there can be an invisible injury. And the medical term is called a subdural hematoma. And that's a fancy medical word for brain bleeding. Now, you can't see that because it's happening internally. Now, as that bleeding continues, a person can then lose consciousness, and it could become a very life-threatening situation. And if the hospital staff doesn't recognize that there's been a head injury, they won't take the necessary steps to get the tests that are needed to make sure that there's not brain bleeding. Now, what if there is brain bleeding? If there is brain bleeding, then the person has to go for emergency surgery to get that blood taken out. There's no other way. I've had many cases where patients fall and they strike their head, and there has been no workup, no CT scan, no MRI, and there's been bleeding, the subdural hematoma. And unfortunately, these patients died. So hospital falls can be very deadly, and most of the time it happens when you're by yourself. So just be careful. It's really important that you maybe have a loved one in the room with you, or if there's a problem with you being a fall risk, having someone sit with you. They're called hospital sitters. You can ask for a hospital to have someone sit with you. And so that if you do have a fall, they can advise the medical staff that maybe there's been a head injury. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you have, please hit that subscribe button. That way, if you like it and subscribe, you'll be able to take advantage of all of my videos. You can also go to my website at frankspectorlaw.com, where I have lots of great information about medical malpractice, and that information is being updated all the time. Again, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again on a future video.